Hello, everyone. Welcome to Different Spirits, where apparently I just review Scotch all the time now. That is my fate. So what are we doing this week in Scotch Town here? Well, I wanted to do some new distilleries, especially I have the Ardnahoe Infinite Lock in there, and I figured I would review that. Because everyone's reviewing it, and that's an easy way to get hits in. And then I just started pulling out more new distilleries, and even more new distilleries that I just completely forgotten I'd had in the queue. And so the upshot is, I can't even do the Ardnahoe today. That's going to go next week, maybe the week after. Today we're just going to do a whole bunch of like non-Isla new distilleries. I've got 8 of them. We're going to split them up into different flights and different videos. This first video is going to be... I'm going to try to reach these without knocking anything over. This first one's going to be the Lowlands video, because, man, are there a lot of new Lowlands distilleries, and that makes me very happy. So we got some Lochleas. I've got 2 of those. This is a cool one. Holyrood. I think this is Glasgow. Are they in Glasgow? I wrote all this down. Pull up my notes here. No, I'm sorry. Edinburgh. They're in Edinburgh. Daft Mill. We're going to go try Daft Mill again. By far the most expensive bottle here. And we'll throw in an Annandale. Why not? All right, and that is your lineup. So let's get these things poured. I've got the very, very first release of Lochlea from, 2022, something like that. I've got a 5-year-old from the year after that. The Holyrood here. There are a couple of options from these guys. I got the Ambir because this one sounds like the most fun. Ooh. And Daft Mill, 15-year-old Fife Strength. This is a sample from Passion for Whiskey. I paid out the nose for this, but I keep meaning to give Daft Mill another chance after I was kind of disappointed in the last round, so here we go. And this is a single barrel Man O Swords from Annandale. Oh my god, and it is peated. So that goes right at the end. Thank you for watching me pour all this stuff. Hope y'all are having a good week. So far as it goes. Okay, let's get started. First up, this is a Lochlea first release. Aged in first fill bourbon and PX casks. This came out, so distilled 2018, bottled very, very beginning of 2022. Unchillfiltered, natural color, 46%. Lochlea Distillery is, as I recall, it's just kind of southwest of Glasgow. You just kind of drive out southerly towards the coast. First fill bourbon and PX. I mean, it's a very pretty nose. At 3 years old, it's not going to have a ton of detail to it, but it is certainly a pleasure to stick my nose into this. Vanilla, lots of vanilla. Graham crackers, oh yeah. I mean, you could almost know what this is going to smell like, just considering, mostly bourbon matured young lowlander. Oh, more graham crackers. There's some kind of fruit. It's like a mix of pear and a little bit of, not peach, nectarine, apricot. Pretty. There's an orange peel thing. Or no, not orange peel. The the orange slice candy You can still buy in the grocery stores. That stuff. More vanilla. Staying mostly on graham crackers. There is like a little bit of a more hearty graininess to this. It's like a little bit of like an overboiled oatmeal, like you left on the stove for like 20 minutes instead of 5. That's most of what this is doing, if I'm honest. There's some florals, whole flowers. You're getting a little bit of stem in there along with the flower part. Young, simple, pretty nose. There's not a ton to this, but I don't mind. On the palate. I mean, yummy. Stylistically, a little bit anonymous, I won't lie. Like, if you handed this to me and told me this was a coolie or something, or... I would totally believe you. Like, it feels very... It's got the Lowlander vibe. It's got, that double distilled Irish kind of vibe, but it's not throwing a ton of, distinguishing traits, personality at me. Yeah, take some, like, not whole wheat, like whole grain rye, some good whole grain rye bread. Kind of pull it up and mix it together with some graham crackers. Put a few drops of honey and a few drops of vanilla on there. Take some orange zest, maybe toast it up a little bit. Throw it right on there. A couple of freshly picked flowers. And that's kind of what you got here. There's some fruit too, I guess. Nectarine, peach, pear. Don't know what else to add. Maybe a little bit of like a kind of brighter plum kind of note, just a touch. It's very pretty. It's very pleasant to drink. It's got like an oily mouthfeel that I'm appreciating. A little bit of like a used black tea leaves kind of thing as well. Yeah, I mean it's simple, but I'm enjoying it. Certainly a good example of the Lowlands. Let's give this some water and we'll come back to it. All right. It's just my main trouble with this is I have trouble thinking of what to say beyond the standard the standards of what you would say about a double distilled Lowlander of this kind of style. That's just kind of what it tastes like. But now we got the 5-year-old. What is the difference? Well, 4% ABV is the difference. This is 50% as opposed to 46. The Holyrood is actually a little bit weaker than this, but I'm gonna keep the Lochleas together. This is it's a 5-year-old, aged 2018 to 2023. 5 casks of this, aged in bourbon, oloroso, and PX. And it is a much darker color than the previous one. Let's see what we got. And you can just tell the sherry influence. So yeah, it's a lot like the previous one where we're pulling back the vanilla a little bit. We're going to pour on some like dusty old books and maybe... What is that? Yeah, definitely like dusty old leather books. is my first thought. But then there's some tobaccos. It's like an interesting mix of tobaccos, though. It's like there's some Black Cavendish in here, like some dessert tobacco, but then there's some more austere stuff, too. There's some like some Orientals in here. Interesting. And a little bit of Swisher Sweets as well. Chocolate orange. Little bit of beef better than bouillon, which I'm not mad about. What else? The flowers are still there, the kind of freshly picked flowers thing. There's, the pear thing is still there, but it's not, it's almost like a pastry kind of thing. It's like a baked pear, like a baked pear pastry with like a little drizzle of peach sauce. Touch of Nesquik in there as well, instead of our teas. But I'm still enjoying the subtle graham crackery graininess of this. So yeah, it just smells like they pushed the sherry way forward to the front. I'm still getting my vanilla. I'm still getting a little bit of black tea, but they're kind of way in the background now. Okay, on the palate. I mean, yeah, in some ways I'm having the same trouble. It's a double distilled lowland malt with a heavy sherry influence, and that's kind of what it tastes like. It's very nice. I'm just struggling to pick out, bits of personality to describe this further. I could repeat a lot from what was happening on the nose. Dusty old books, Nesquik. The kind of mix of more grassy tobaccos with some dessert tobaccos in there as well. One fig, a chocolate orange, graham crackers. There's a little bit of like a multigrain bread thing on this now. It's actually more grainy than the previous one. Black pepper. There's some vanilla. There's some black tea. Lovely, but just not particularly memorable, at least not for my palate. Performs well. It's got good texture. It's kicking my lungs and my tonsils pretty well. It's very Swanny. It's very Jim Swan. I have no idea if he had anything to do with this project, but it's that kind of energy. It's clean, it's fruity, it's delightful. I enjoy it. I'm not going to remember it. Assuming we'll see what happens when what it does with water, but assuming it keeps on the same pace, I'm not going to remember this, next week. Okay, let's do this. 2 squirts. And we move on. It's a tough thing when you're a new distillery, right? Because you have to make good whiskey that people are going to appreciate and enjoy. And these are certainly that. But you also have to punch through the public consciousness to get people to notice you in the presence of 100+ other distilleries out there. And with this, I'm not sure it's quite doing that second one. All right. Holyrood Distillery, Ambir, 49.8% alcohol by volume. Oh, I wrote it down wrong here. Not 48.9, 49.8. All right, so what is this? So Holyrood makes a whole bunch of different styles of malt, which is kind of cool. Again, they're in Edinburgh. This is the one where they started using specialty like beer malts in smaller proportions to kind of give their stuff a little bit more of a kick. Especially, apparently, this is a special project. It's very American, frankly. The Americans have been doing this for a little while. What do we got in here? They got some distiller's malt, chocolate malt, Vienna malt, Crystal 240, and Caramalt. And all of this was aged in ex-bourbon and ex-oloroso. Bottled circa 2024. Unchillfiltered natural color. 49.8% alcohol by volume. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's different. I mean, from the list of malts, you expect this to smell desserty, and it absolutely does. Oh, yeah. This is in some ways the nose on this is some ways reminding me of the beer bronze from Edinburgh that I've reviewed in the past. Oh yeah, I mean it smells. There's like a hot chocolate vibe on this. Hot cocoa, but there's also like a really intense fruity thing. Hard to nail down. Grape soda mixed with a little bit of like orange and pineapple soda. Orange and pineapple Faygo. That's a classic. There's a little bit of an herbaceousness too. It's not ganj, which is what I expect with this kind of profile, based on the Edelbrons at least. It's not ganja, it's a different kind of herbaceousness. It's like a tarragon kind of character. Some little bit of parsley, some oregano. Really fun. There's some graininess in this too. There's some like honey nut Cheerios. Let's go with that. Vanilla is coming through, but it's fighting hard against this other stuff. I mean, there's an orangey element. What is? No, I already mentioned the orange pineapple Faygo, didn't I? Some white pepper. Allspice. It's something else. It's like chocolatey mushroom. It's almost like there's almost a little hint of like sauce aroma baijiu in this, in a good way. Or like you sautéed some mushrooms in chocolate, that kind of thing. Really, yeah. I mean, if you hand this to me neat, I would not name Scotland. I would call America, USA, and say these are the only people. The Americans are the only people crazy enough to do something like this. And yet, no, there's that little bit of a pale ale kind of thing going on there. It's not that far outside of reason. We're not as crazy as we can get with some of the American malts out there. It's bonkers, but it's still like bonkers by Scotch malt standards, if that makes sense. On the palate. Oh, that's fabulous. Oh. This is so not what I expect to get. Drinking like a Scotch malt whiskey. And I have to imagine, like, if you poured this for your traditional whiskey drinker, like, their monocle would fall straight out. It wouldn't just fall out. It would shoot right across the room and shatter on the wall. This is a really different stylistic take on this genre. really, wow, okay. Arrives. Not that weird, honestly. You've got some grainy elements. Your Honey Nut Cheerios mixed with a little bit of oatmeal. There's some fruity stuff. Apple, pineapple, orangey stuff. That's all fine. A little bit of not exactly grassiness. What is that? The tarragon thing again, along with maybe some garden herbs. Arrives like that. And then chocolate. Like, slightly like, what is that? Like chocolate and a kind of herbal bitterness and a slight savory character. That kind of mushroom sauteed in chocolate thing comes through. I apologize, that's the door. I'll be right back. That is presents for a soon-to-be 4-year-old. The life of a father is never done. Vanilla, some nice fruity graininess on the back end. They could have gone crazier on this, and I think it would have been better. But I'm still delighted by that. Where it's going to lose points for me a little bit is just in terms of the mouth presence. This is quite young. It's not really... The finish is not bad. It's adequate. Could be better. The mouth length, again, not terrible. We're getting a little tonsil tickling going on, but not too much. The texture is nice. All of the mouth presence is adequate, but feels like it could be better. It's the party trick of this is how delicious it is and how different it is, but I can't really use that as justification to kind of overlook the fact that this still feels like a whiskey that's got room to grow. I would love to see this with an extra 2 or 3 years of age on it. But even now, this is well worth a taste. I'm going to see where it goes with water, though, because if water kicks up the mouth presence, we could have a total winner here. Okay, moving on. If we're talking in terms of what should be winning this flight, in terms of where everyone's hype is, it should be the Daft Mill. Daft Mill Distillery, hyped. It's a tiny farm that started distilling whiskey, I don't know, I guess around 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. And I remember watching videos of Ralphie going down and visiting. And when I was a wee baby malt drinker. And here we are, 15 years old. This is the Fife Strength, 2009, 15-year-old. Of course, double distilled, optic barley that they're growing themselves, and aged in mostly first fill ex-bourbon, but they also threw a PX cask in here. So we'll see what happens with that. 56.3% alcohol by volume. I was, again, kind of disappointed in the last Daft Mill I tried, but it also felt like something I could do with a bit more age. What do we got here? Shy on the nose. Very honeyed, though. Like take a couple of different kinds of honey, maybe some wildflower honey, put in a little bit of buckwheat honey as well, kind of mix all that around, and then put a touch of vanilla or two on there. That's a little bit of what this smells like. There's a distinct, intense graininess to this. Cream of wheat all day long with some crushed frosted flakes as well. It's slightly smoky, not peaty. There's no peat on this. We'll get to the peated one. But yeah, there's like a kind of campfirey, heathery element to this. Yeah, it's as if you picked a whole bunch of heather, piled it up, and lit it all on fire. That's kind of the energy. There's some rocks. This is the first one that's really showing some minerality to it. Crushed rocks. A lot of black pepper. It's quite ashy, honestly. Tobacco, yes. Kind of a mix of different Virginia tobaccos. Maybe a touch of burley in there. It smells, I mean, it's a very dense nose. It's not, I mean, the impression of Lowlanders can often be that they're like easygoing and light. That has not been my my understanding at all. And here's a perfect example. This is an intellectual nose. This is a nose you have to think about a little bit. There's a little streak of orange running through this. Okay. Yeah, I think dense is the word. On the palate. I mean, it's very good. Let's start with that. This is... Okay, so this is a fabulous whiskey. Maybe fabulous is too strong. It's pretty darn good. It's also on the austere side. There's a fair bit of vanilla and a lot of honey to this. But it's also... Yeah, I think like austere is the word. Dense and austere. Heathery campfire, like dry. I'm chewing on dried wildflowers, cream of wheat, honey and vanilla, cider apple, like kind of sour bitter apple. There's lots of sours and bitters on this. This is not a porch pounder. This is something you have to really sit down and take your time with and kind of intellectually appreciate. Tobaccos, Virginias and Burleys, black pepper, lots of black pepper. Orange peel. This is a really hard one to judge because it's clearly complex. Mouth presence is quite good. Not as good as I was expecting, to be honest, but very, very good. I just want it to be a little bit friendlier. I rarely say this. I want the oak to come out to play a little bit more. I want a little bit more vanilla. I want it to crack a smile because right now it feels like I caught it in a bad mood or something. But yeah, there you go. Okay, 2, 3, 4. I will say, if this thickens up a little bit in terms of the mouth presence and gives me a smile, like this will probably win the flight, but we'll have to see. Yeah. Oof. The pepper is coming out. Jeez, okay. Daft Mill, I don't know, man. Like, I appreciate what they're doing. I respect the hell out of what they're doing, but like, it's hard for them to give them my heart, you know. It's not one I fall in love with too readily. Oh my god! All right, here we go. Annandale Distillery, way in the south of Scotland. Pretty darn close to the border. This is Man O Swords, smolderingly smoky, and this is a barrel pick. This is cask 541. It is a sherry hogshead, so 5 years old, distilled 2016, 59.5% alcohol by volume, and yeah, it reeks. Hold on. Oh Jesus, stanky stank. Yeah. It's a good nose, but yeah, it is a stanky nose. Earthy, barnyardy peat. Those of you who really like the grunge factor in your peat, who like, the wet dogs and the stinky cows and the poopy manure grass, you will appreciate this. There's also some chocolate fudge going on. A little bit of Russian caravan tea. There's some detail here. It's a very kind of rich, sweet peat, if I can put it that way. It says sherry hogshead, but I'm actually getting a fair bit of vanilla in here, so maybe it was an American oak cask, or maybe it was a re-rack, I don't know. But you were totally getting that kind of seductive peat plus vanilla character on this to kind of offset the intensely grungy barnyardy aspect. Yeah, stanky stank. Grainy oatmeal. Black pepper, chocolate orange. I mean, it's a young, aggressively peated malt whiskey. I don't know what the ppm on this is, but it presents, we're at Lagavulin levels. We're not at Lefroy levels. We're at Lagavulin levels with this, in terms of how it's presenting itself. Jesus. Peaty chocolate orange, grungy chocolate orange. Tobacco again. It's like a Maduro cigar. You rolled in poop or something. Animal poop, but nice. There's a little bit of like an old pipe smell as well. It's not the actual tobacco, but just like the pipe. It's not subtle, this nose. It is loud. A touch of like a beefiness to this, like a Bovril thing. It's maybe, one of those cows met a rough fate. One fig, more black pepper, Darjeeling leaves, just a big old dense obnoxious nose that God only knows what this distillate would be like without the peat and without a really loud cask. I have no idea. I can't tell you. I think it's pretty grainy, but it's just, there's too much other stuff there for me to tell you what it's like. But let me tell you, I'm enjoying this nose. It's huge and I love it on the palate. total opposite of the Daft Mill. It was completely accidental in terms of my picking the bottles as to why these two landed together, but it's a perfect contrast. The Daft Mill you have to drink with with pursed lips and a furrowed brow because it's very serious and it's demanding a lot from you. This is just this is a ridiculous cartoon show. I mean, it's it's magical peaty cows and wet dogs and like goats and farm animals flying around shooting rainbows at each other. It's fabulous. Jesus. All right, let me see if I get some notes. Yeah, very, very barnyardy, very stanky, but very peaty as well. You've got your kind of vanilla, peaty chocolate fudge element to this. Your Bovril. The palate is actually showing more of the distillate character than the nose was. Very grainy. I'm enjoying the oatmeal in this. I am enjoying there's an orange character that I do not think it is from the sherry cask. I think it's just the character of the distillate. This is a chocolatey, savory kind of sherry cask, I think. Graininess, orange, a little bit of honey as well. You can pull like primary taste characteristics out of this from the distillate, but there's so much peat and so much oak on this. It's very difficult to do. I'm enjoying the results though. Tremendous mouth presence. The texture is killer. The finish. There's some flowers too. There's a little halo of like peaty, stinky flowers. Sorry, back to what I was saying. Finish is pretty long. And it's not just the peat and it's not just the pepper. Did I mention there's pepper? There's pepper. It's also like the vanilla stuff and some of the grainy stuff. They all kind of stick around. The length on this is a little bit short. We're hitting my tonsils, but only just. But still, this is fabulous and delicious, and I'm enjoying it. And it's putting a big old fat smile on my face. And I'm not sure the Daft Mill is beating it. Let's go back through this again. Well, first I'll give this some more water. Hopefully it hasn't completely destroyed my palate. It'll go 5. Here we go. All right. Actually, you know what? I've had a couple of peated Lowlanders in the last year or two. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite of the bunch. So if you have been looking at, say, like the Glasgow peated or whatever it is, buy this instead. I mean, this is just so obnoxious and delicious. It's just fun. And sometimes that's what spirits are about, right? They're just supposed to be fun. All right, let's move back through these. Back to the... God, I completely forgot these first couple after these three here. Lochlea, I mean, in terms of style, this is the girl next door, but sometimes, you know, there's a reason why you forget the girl next door, if you get what I'm saying. Back to the Lochlea first release. The kind of orangey note gets a little bit brighter on this, but otherwise it's very much the same nose. It just smells like a nice, young, lowland, double distilled whiskey. It smells fine. That's all I got. I'm sorry. On the palate. No. After the Man O Sword, I'm going to need another sip. Hold on. Let it be known, this is a little bit of a palate crusher. I'm going to need another sip. It's fine. I like it. I like the Lochlea first release. It's... I don't know what to tell you. It tastes exactly the same as it did when I first tasted it. It tastes like a perfectly delicious, competent, lovely, young lowland malt. That's all. That's all it is. Score-wise, 83 or 84. I feel like it's better than an 83. I'll call this an 83 plus with a shrug emoji, because that's kind of how I feel about it. 83 plus with a shrug. Because there's really nothing wrong with this. It's delicious. It's lovely. But I'm not going to remember it. It's just so normal compared to some of the other monsters on this table. All right, moving on. Lochlea number 2. 5-year-old. I mean, I feel like I'm being mean to these people. They've clearly done a good job. Like, this is a fabulous, like, sherry-heavy nose, decorating a very, very well-distilled malt. I mean, if you know you like kind of swanny malts, that kind of clean as a whistle, Jim Swan style, you will like this. I like this. But, I mean, I knows this, and I just... It feels like it could have come from anywhere. This could have come from maybe the U.S. somewhere. This could have come from Germany. Could have come from Taiwan. I mean, it feels a little bit placeless, a little bit anonymous. It just needs... They need a hook. They desperately need a hook on the palate. Good, competent, young sherry-driven whiskey that is, and a little bit of an improvement in the mouthfeel on this. I don't know if it's worth a plus, but it is better. I feel like this hits an 85 square on. 85 points. Highly recommendable, but super duper confident, sherry driven kind of malt with some nice graininess underneath. I don't know. They need something. They need something to kind of just make this punch through. I don't know what to say. It's lovely. I enjoy it. It's just kind of like they're in the crowd. Yeah. Sorry. Holyrood. Let's see. Ambir. I really, really enjoyed this before, but also found the mouth presence a little bit lacking. So let's see what we got now. The wood comes out a little bit. It comes out a little bit more with water. I'm getting some more vanilla. There's a little bit more of a stewed tea character in this, even nuttiness. A little bit of baklava now. But you were still getting that slight herbaceous thing, the chocolatey thing, almost burned caramel. The unusual aspects that you were getting from the malt on this. With water, this might be a little bit more friendly to the normals, the normal Scotch drinkers out there. It smells a little bit more Scotchy on the palate. It's sometimes the role of reviewer is aggravating because I really, really like this, and I cannot score it that high. I really, really like this. Oh, it's so yummy. Like it, the way the arrival just kind of curls into that kind of like umami, herbaceous, chocolatey thing. It's very, very fun. But the mouth presence still isn't that great. It's better. It has stepped up. But I want more from this. It's just, I don't know what it needs. It needs like more strength, a little bit more age. I'm not sure, but we're so close to having like a really awesome special example of Scotch malt whiskey here, and I don't think it quite nails it yet, but definitely if you're curious, this is worth a shot. If everything I'm talking about and the stats on this sound interesting to you, try it. It is worth trying, but it could be better. Score wise, I will call this an 84 plus with a heart emoji because I really quite like this. It's a breath of fresh air in the world of Scotch malts, and I appreciate that. It isn't. They didn't just distill like a normal, Scotch distillate and then throw it in a freaking port cask. No, they played around with the malts they were using. They played around with the raw materials, and I appreciate that. But this is not the ceiling. Not even close. Moving on to the Daft Mill. This is, in terms of complexity, probably the best thing here. But I want a little bit more presence, and I want a little bit more just accessibility. I want this to break a grin a little bit. Tell a joke, for God's sake. All right, here we go. Okay. The pepper has certainly come out to play. There's even like a little bit of an apple cider thing coming out. No. Because it's minerally. What is that? Chablis. There's a little bit of like a take a Chablis, a good Chablis, put a whole squeeze like a little bit of honey in there. There's a little bit of that going on. Lemon peel, orange peel, like graininess. It's hard to deny this is really just a well-made, serious malt. But do I like it? It's very, very good. It's very well made. It's complex. Water has brought out a little bit of vanilla, but also a little bit more pepper and a little bit more herbaceousness. So there's a little bit more of like a thyme and rosemary thing going on. But I don't know if I want a bottle of this. It's just so... It's very serious. Yeah, still, even with the extra dose of vanilla coming out, it's a very austere malt. And I respect the hell out of it. I really do. I'm going to give it a pretty darn good score, probably. I don't know if I like it. It is complex. 87 or 88. 87 plus. There's a lot of pluses in this episode. I apologize, but that's kind of what's happening. 87 plus out of 100 for this. It's very good. I respect it, and yeah, I don't want a bottle. And I'm going to get a whole bunch of hate from the Daft Mill fans out there. And I understand, because they're working hard over there. I respect what they're doing. They're working harder than than I am. But it's just such a it's hard work drinking this stuff. All right, let's move on to the Annandale. God almighty. It's everything. It's just it's this one, by contrast, feels like it's trying so hard to put a smile on your face. It's so stinky. I mean, it's got like peat, it's got like vanilla fudge, it's got stinky barnyard animals. It's got like Ovaltine brewed with like beef broth. It's got mud. It's just such an obnoxious, huge, loud, boisterous malt, and I cannot help but love it. All right, on the palate. I don't want to tell, go buy one of these. I swear to God, like it's young, and part of me just hates. There's a part of my brain that wants everything to have been aged 30 years in like halfway dead oak, so there's just nothing between me and the distillate to kind of get in the way. That is like part of my brain, but there's also just another part that is just seeks out big, loud, obnoxious fireworks shows, and that is what this is. This is making that part of my brain very, very happy. Changes with water. Not really. Gets a little bit more dusty, a little bit more white peppery. I mean, it's delicious. I love this. I don't know if it's beating the Daft Mill. I don't think it is. It's close. It's got the mouth presence. It's got the finish. It's got most of the length. It's got the texture. What it's lacking is the same complexity, the same little details as the Daft Mill has. But so I'm only going to give this 87 points. However, by the way, look at this bottle. This is they ripped off the New Riff bottle. They got like the little burned thing. 87 points only, but I will point out to you this is considerably cheaper than the Daft Mill, if you can still get it. So yeah, that is the video. Interesting flight. So yeah, like starting at the bottom, Lochlea first release. Pretty darn good for a first release, though. It is an 83 plus with a shrug. I like this. I think it's delicious. I would not mind having a bottle around, to be honest, but it's also not something I'm going to remember. Like, it just needs something. It needs a little twist in there. Something to give it something memorable. Luckily, a 5-year-old, 2018, 85 points. Better, and just a good example of a sherry-driven malt that kind of retains a grainy character, but I still want more. Holyrood, Ambir. Really, really interesting. Not there yet. Not out of the oven yet. Still good. Still recommendable, but you will see better things from these guys in the future. 84 plus with a heart emoji. Your winner, Daft Mill, 87 plus. It's austere. I don't want a bottle. I don't want to spend money on a bottle. It's not fun. But damn is the complexity there. Damn is the detail there. So massive respect to these guys. And then the winner in my heart, if not by points, this totally obnoxious, stinky Annandale Man O Swords, 87 points. Thanks for watching, and cheers.